What's up? You are now listening to Americanized, a storytelling podcast where you'll hear from eclectic first and second generation Americans share their stories and real life experiences as children of immigrants. Hey listeners, thank you for tuning in. I'm your host Rosalind, and it's the holiday season again, and as we know, this means different things for different people across different backgrounds. Christmas is celebrated by billions of people worldwide, and its traditions often become lost and learned with the occurrence of cultural exchanges, primarily in diverse countries like America. And especially with families coming to America generating first and second generation Americans. This special sneak peek episode comes from an excerpt from an upcoming episode called More Minorities in Medicine, featuring Heather Anderson. I met Heather at the Bible study group on campus back in college. She is a first-generation Ghanian American who is a self-motivated, aspiring doctor. So definitely stay tuned for Dr. Heather Anderson in the near future, you guys. In this episode, she speaks on her unique holiday experiences with her Ghanian family, as well as the learned American holiday traditions that she hopes to pass on to her future generations. In what ways do you feel Americanized, as you mentioned?
I would say mostly through the holidays. For example, like Thanksgiving's not really big. I would say when I was talking to my dad about it, like for him, Thanksgiving wasn't big back home. It was just another holiday for him. And 4th of July. Because, Ghana has their own independence. So when they came to the States, they didn't really celebrate 4th of July, but it's really big here because it's independence for the USA. So I guess with the holidays, that was mainstream, and even Christmas, it wasn't that big in our household. Yes, we did start having a tree and stuff, but it wasn't something that was, I guess, their own type of culture thing that they wanted to bring into us. Yes, we had our own, going to church, getting together, but it's more so of the holidays. Like, how do I make the kids feel connected to the American culture?
And with school, I think it's really emphasized a lot in schools. They have like certain activities and events that circle around holidays. And so I guess going back to your house, that would have to translate over coming from your parents to make you feel a part of America and American culture.
Yes, and I feel like it was through like the little projects that we had. They'll say like, so name 5 things you're grateful for. Or tell me about your Thanksgiving experience. So it was like, okay, so how are we gonna blend, the regular home traditions with the American traditions to basically not make us feel like we can't connect with others when it comes to like the school setting? Because everyone's talking about their Christmas, how they do this, they drink eggnog, and I've never in my life had eggnog until I think the end of college somebody made it. So it's like those little things that I've never had and was never exposed to because they didn't grow up in that setting. So I was grateful for the fact that they tried.
Yeah.
They tried. I remember I said, Dad, can we get like a little tree or something? And he was like, it's wasting space. But it's just good to have something, just try and feel American in that sense. Because holidays are so big here, extremely big. They have the sales and the celebrations. They have, whether it's fireworks or 4th of July, whether it's the Macy's Day Parade during Christmas. Like they really take it to the extreme here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So they really try to blend it, and I see a lot more, I guess, inclusivity when it comes to the holidays here. Because you see in public schools, New York, there's a lot of holidays that the students have off for. But there's Jewish holidays, Muslim holidays. Like there's a lot of holidays that the students are able to basically spend time with their family, their religious leaders, and they acknowledge those holidays for that.
Right, it's a huge deal here.
Exactly. It is serious. I will say, till this day, my house, we do not celebrate Halloween at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of the holidays that they just don't, because it's just never a big thing for them, and they still don't understand the purpose of it. You know, for people like to dress up, you know, their costume. Basically, it's holidays to be something that you're not. Of course, the young kids love it. So stuff like that. I wouldn't say every holiday they accepted and kind of brought into the household, but they did acknowledge it, you know?
Mm-hmm. I still don't understand Halloween. I remember one year in elementary school, I didn't go trick-or-treating, and this other boy, I think his family's from Jamaica, and they were doing some activity, like counting how much candy you got. But we had to, like, go to a different room to do a fake activity with candy from the class, because we didn't bring any candy.
We didn't have,
We didn't, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is too funny.
And what you said about the eggnog, same. I haven't had it at all until the end of college, and I don't think I'll have it again.
No, I would have it again. It's great because I think it's because of the mainstream, I would say the mainstream commercials, the advertising for it, and even like the movies. You're just like, so this is what a typical American household does for Christmas. Like, movies were probably the greatest example of how Americans spend their holidays. And then for us, we just kind of saw, talked about it, and said, so what should we do? Even like with the lights too. I think when I was, I don't know, maybe like 8 or 9, I asked my dad if we can get lights. But the thing is, we were in an apartment building, and at that time we did have like a terrace. So like just the outside area where the windows were. And I was like, can we put, lights out on the terrace? Like we didn't have like a house to like, put lights out on the outside. I just loved it. And he's like, no, we can put lights on the inside. So I was like, where? And he's like, you know what? Let's just put it on the TV. So that's because at that time we had the tree, so we put it around the TV. Just to add some type of decor, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm making that. Even though they didn't really celebrate the Christmas the same way that Americans celebrated here, they tried. Like my dad he really tried to give us like little things to make us feel like we're in the holiday spirit.
Mm-hmm. You have to make it work somehow.
Exactly.
Because you do see it in movies, and Christmas movies are another huge thing. Like Christmas, you kind of have to celebrate Christmas by watching Christmas movies.
Yes, that's how you figure it out.
Yeah. And like stockings, we never had like a fireplace with you put your stockings over.
Yes.
If there was in other households, like stocking presents is like an actual thing. It's like if you don't have it, then what are you doing?
That's like their own tradition. Like I don't think I've ever had a stocking in my life.
Mm-mm.
Only when I worked freshman to sophomore year, when I worked in the gym, and then my boss was the one that had stockings for us in front of our receptionist stand. Like that was the only time I had a stocking, and I thought that was like the coolest thing. You know, because at least for us, like I said, we don't really do the stockings, the decor, unless I ask for it. But my parents will try, and then because the only thing we basically did was mainly, talked about the birth of Jesus, watched some movies about it, where there was like a church celebration. That was the main thing we had about it. But it wasn't like a decor. We weren't singing and doing, the jolly good times. I don't think I really know any Christmas carols besides the ones I hear from movies.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like in a way, all the decor, it's nice, but kind of feel like it's wasteful. Maybe that's their mindset as well. Like, what's the point of all of that?
Like you put it up for a little bit and then you have to take it back down. My dad he doesn't like to have a lot of like, I guess, decor, and I guess some people say it's junk. Even my mom's the same way. Like, we just don't like to have a lot of stuff that we're saving it, and then we're saving it for next year. They prefer to, if we use something, we use it all year round.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Which
is fine, but I think when I grow up, even though I know that I'm more Americanized compared to my parents because they grew up in Ghana while I grew up in America, and I still want that holiday experience with my kids. I personally would probably still do a tree, still do lights, do presents under the tree, because we didn't really do presents under the tree. It was literally the day of Christmas or Christmas Eve. My parents would come to me and say, "So what do you want for Christmas?"
Oh, really?
It wasn't a you have presents under the tree type of thing.
That's interesting.
We don't. I'm trying to think if we ever did. So I'm trying to think. No, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't our Christmas wasn't the typical traditional American Christmas, but they did it the best they could.
Yeah, they have their own way. That's cool. So there's no like. Well, I guess there's an anticipation, but there's no like guessing.
There's no guessing. Yeah. Say there was no surprise. Probably once, I told my parents what I wanted, and they got me something else. Like I think I wanted like one of the newest Bratz dolls, but I already got a Bratz doll. But then instead, my parents gave me a cell phone. It was a Virgin Mobile, and I was like screaming at the top of my lungs. That was probably the only time I've ever been surprised for a gift. Because majority of the time, if I ask for it, I most likely would get it. And my parents will say, "We'll get it for you within reason." You know, it's not like I can say, "Dad, I want a new car." No, it was within reason.
That makes sense. That's kind of like, because our parents, we never had like gifts under the tree from them. Like, they would take us Christmas shopping. We kind of buy.
What you want.
Gifts, yeah, and I will like buy gifts for my siblings and my parents just to. Because I don't know, that's what you think Christmas is. You buy gifts for people and you surprise them.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say when I got older and I worked, then I started buying gifts. But yeah, when I was younger, it was like, I didn't know that on Christmas Eve you open up one present, and then on Christmas Day you guys open up all your presents. And that was something that, like I said, was never taught to me. They didn't know. I really didn't know until I got older. So it was more of like, so what do you want? We'll give it to you. And then sometimes I'll make a card for my family. But that was the best I could do when I was young. I was like, let me draw them something.
That's so cute.
Give them something.
Right.
Surprise them.
Wow. That's a good conversation to have, because you think, because everyone has it or kind of has the same traditions. But with our generation, it's a little different.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much for listening. Hope to catch you in the next episode. All original music produced by Stubborn Soul and Custodian of Records.